Hello, welcome to the Matthew Allton Art channel again. This is another video that I'm recording in the shepherd's hut while on holiday, but unfortunately I can't upload them until I get home and edit them because my laptop isn't capable of using Adobe Premiere, which I didn't know before I came away. I've been out today because it's actually been fairly dry, so I went from near Ulverston up into the Central Lakes, had a drive around Coniston basically, and I stopped on the roadside by Coniston and did a gouache study. So I actually did a plein air painting, well, half in and out the car to be fair. The first one that I've done while I've been here. I'm about to try a second painting for the day. Been very productive. This is going to be a small 7x5" oil painting of some horse chestnuts and a horse chestnut leaf that I picked up on the way back from Coniston. I saw a conker tree and I seem to paint horse chestnuts on a regular basis every year or every other year. So I'm going to have a go at doing an oil painting, small oil painting of that. First stage will be to draw out the actual photograph that I've taken. I had to take a photograph because the light in here isn't very good and I wanted to use the light coming in the window as soon as I got back. So I've taken a photograph to get the light right, and I'm going to be working from the photograph that I took when I got home. Okay, so let's see how we get on. Let's draw out where everything is first. I took a few photographs to work from before the light started to fade in the shepherd's hut, and the first ones I took were sort of more informal arrangements of conkers and leaves. The leaves were sort of forming a background, so all higgledy-piggledy and in different directions, and actually towards the end I just thought I'd try a more formal arrangement of single objects on a sort of blank canvas, I suppose, if you like. And I preferred that. It was sort of like trying to examine the form of each object, conker, husk and leaf. So I went with this photo that was sort of taken just as an afterthought before starting the painting, really. With a still life you need to be quite detailed about where everything is. So I'm trying to make the painting quite accurate, the picture quite accurate. Doesn't matter about the lines being quite thick either, because I'm going to use oil paint, which tends to cover any pencil that you've added. Well, that's the drawing out done of the leaf and the horse chestnut and the shells. It's going to be an oil painting, so I'm gonna, now I've drawn out the actual shape, go over the background. It's quite a light background that it's on anyway, but I just need to make it off-white. And I'm going to add liquid, which is a mixing medium, to the page to help the paint go on, because the paper that I use, which is Arches Huile, can be quite absorbent, the first layer that you put on. So the liquid is absorbed by the paper, and then the paint goes on more smoothly after that. So let's see how we get on. So this is the liquid going on over the whole of the painting surface. It's about 7x5" this paper that I've cut. As I said just a minute ago, I'm now making the paper off-white, just by a very thin layer of sort of greyish paint, brown, ultramarine generally. Now starting to add the shadow under the leaf. That was actually quite yellow, which is why it's quite yellow under the leaf, because the light was shining through some of the yellow part of the leaf, and then sort of got a bit darker towards the edge of the leaf. Because the liquid is on the paper, it's very easy to blend those shadows to make them soft on the edges. Now moving to the shadows under the conker and conker husks. These will get darker as we go on, but it's just giving me some sort of indication of the darks on the page. Starting with the actual conker itself in the husk. Such a great glossy texture they have when they're fresh. So trying to build up the three-dimensionality of it by adding the darker paint underneath. Now trying to build up the husk or the shell. Just trying to get the hint of this. It's not a photographic representation of what was in front of me at all, but I'm just trying to get the right colours that indicate the bruising of the sort of white flesh of the husk there, the shadows of the spines. Again, I'm trying to work on trying to represent detail without actually painting too much detail. Now trying to add the highlight for the shininess of the conker. It's the only bit that would have a strong highlight on this painting. If anything, I could have gone a bit more on that highlight. I could have made it a bit whiter to make it a bit more glossy. But as it is, it looks like a conker that's been exposed to the air for a few hours. Now moving on to the empty husk. As I said earlier, those shadows underneath the husks will darken up as everything else is added. Sort of helps you to see how dark they are when you add the colour elsewhere and the tone elsewhere. Now just a bit of reflected light underneath the conker, which of course is never going to be as strong as the highlight at the top. All of these off-whites for the flesh can be quite difficult to get accurate, so I'm actually quite pleased with how these are going. It's sort of a creamy white anyway, the flesh, but it can be quite green, and of course where the shells are bruised and everything, it's quite brown as well. Colour of the actual object is there, I can start deepening the shadow underneath it to give it more form. Now adding those spikes. Some of them are quite long, but they're all in shadow. The ones underneath the actual husk are obviously darker. because it wasn't a pinpoint light source, there was quite a lot of softer shadow around the main shadow underneath each object. Starting now on the leaf, and it takes me a while to get this going in the way that I want it to go, partly because the liquid's dried at this point, so it's a bit difficult to get the colour to spread across the paper. But I start being quite precise at this point and realise that I'm doing that, and then try to go a bit more loosely to indicate the bent over leaf. And it's quite an old leaf, and there's quite a lot of the edges of the leaf that have dropped off, gone brown, so it's a jagged edged leaf. If anything, as you'll see towards the end, I don't make the leaf quite the right depth of green really for a conker leaf. Sort of lost the veins of the leaf that I added originally, so I'm reapplying those just at the moment in a darker colour. They are quite deep veins on a conker leaf, so there's highlights and shadows in all of them. I think overall I didn't really successfully get the light coming through the leaf. It's quite a solid looking thick leaf on this painting by the end, but by the end it's sort of getting where I want it to be. They're sort of quite a bluey green conker leaf. Obviously when this one had lots of mottled orange areas and yellow areas, and again I didn't really successfully get those on. Just trying to indicate the sort of curve of the leaf a little bit and where the light's shining on it. I think the addition of the white there is not helping. I should have done a sort of a bluier green there, I think. But you know, hindsight's a wonderful thing. Trying to indicate that some of the edges are broken there and curling over on both sides of the leaf. It's difficult to get the veins on the leaf with a paintbrush using oils. They're very fine. You don't want them to look too obvious. The yellow here I'm trying to add is trying to indicate light coming through the leaf, but again, not quite sure it works as I wanted it to. Trying to indicate the edge that's bent away from the light there. Trying to add some more of the orange colour here as well. It is getting there, but I think I should have persevered a bit more with the leaf really, but overall we're getting towards the end now of what I did. One of the best bits of painting, taking off the the tape around the edges to leave a lovely crisp line. It's one of my favourite bits of a painting. Well, this is the final painting. Overall, I'm quite pleased with it. I think the husks certainly are quite successful, and the conker is quite successful. As I said in the sort of talk through the painting there, probably could have got away with making the highlight on the conker even brighter, which would have given it more of a gloss. I think overall the leaf is the worst bit of the painting, the bit I'm least happy. There's nothing wrong with it, really. I think that I started to put more of that bluey green on right at the end, and if I'd have carried on doing that, I could probably have improved the overall look of it. It's fine, it just looks a little bit solid and a bit dense. I think I didn't really get the light shining through the leaf. Maybe I could have put some green in the shadow area as well. I started with yellow, and maybe I should have put some green in there to get the impression that light was coming through. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do like it if you did, and subscribe to the channel, which will help me grow. Do comment as well. I get very few comments on paintings, and I'd like the comments to grow if that's possible. I want this to be a sort of a channel where I document my improvement, but also maybe can help other people improve their art as well as we go along. So, thanks for watching. Speak to you on the next one. Bye.